Well, here we are at Glenmere Brewing in Florida, New York.
Yeah, heart and soul of the Black Dirt region. We talked about that before when we were at Drownlands, right? We talked about the Black Dirt, and we're even more immersed in Black Dirt here in Florida. Florida is home. It's basically like the onion capital of the world. Years ago, 1940s, 1950s, a lot of the migrant workers that worked the Black Dirt region here were Polish, and they moved to the area. And when you drive around the streets of Florida, New York, you see a lot of Polish street names, and they have a fabulous onion festival here every year. Jimmy Sturr, who is
the Grammy Award winning Jimmy Sturr.
Yeah, he's a super award winning polka king. Jimmy Sturr grew up here in Florida, New York, and he still haunts the local pizza shops and restaurants here.
But today,
haven't bumped into Jimmy here at Glenmere before, but who knows? We'll see.
But today, we're not talking about bratwurst or kielbasa. We're talking beer.
Right, we're talking about beer because that's what we're all about here at Hudson Valley Pour. We're about local beer. And
this guy is Todd Jennings.
I'm Todd, and this is
Richard D'Ambrosio. Right. Welcome to our channel once again. And I'm drinking an IPA this time, a New England IPA.
Called Dragonfly, right?
Called Dragonfly, which is my muse.
Right.
Yep.
And I am drinking a beer that's similarly named. It's actually called Lucid Dragon. And I have a couple of stories about Lucid Dragon. In fact, Rich is holding one of my toy beer buddies. His name is actually Lucifer. And he was named after this beer. He was named after Lucid Dragon a few years ago. I brought him in and I set him on the bar and he didn't have a name. And the barkeep says to me, he said, "How much you want for that dragon?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, Why do you want to buy it? He says, "That's my Lucid Dragon." I said, "Oh, so that was a mascot." So I said to him, "Look, I'm not going to sell you this dragon. It's just a toy. I mean, you can have him, but you got to take care of him. You got to give him a bath, treat him well." So
take him out on a date.
Yeah, so that kind of began the relationship between me and my beer dragons, which I'm known for, and
HV Beer Snob. You can see Lucifer quite often staged with Todd's beer pictures.
Yeah, and he actually also has Lucifer as a beer dragon, and he has his own account, Instagram account too. But let's not go there. So Rich and I are sitting. We're not in the tap room actually at Glenmere. We're sitting right in the brew house. So you can see behind us some of the brewing equipment. The mash tun, boiled cattle mash tuns are behind us. You're also seeing a few corny kegs.
What's a corny keg? Is that someone who tells really bad jokes?
Yeah, something like that, but not really. Corny is short for Cornelius keg, and typically a corny keg is the capacity is, I think, 5 1/8 gallons or something like that.
That's about right. Yeah.
It's a reasonably small thing. It's less than a half barrel, and a lot of local breweries actually keg into cornies because their beer doesn't move as fast as the big beers like Bud, Miller, Coors, and such. So instead of furnishing local merchants, retail accounts with half kegs, they furnish corny kegs. But if it's a good brewery and the product moves fast, then the brewery may move into doing full. I call them full half kegs, which sounds oxymoronic. Full half kegs. But when you order a keg these days, a true keg is only a half keg. In truth.
So when I thought I was giving my full effort rolling those kegs in high school up to the party, I was only really giving half the effort.
Yeah, they were only probably 15.5 gallon kegs. A full keg is 31 gallons.
31 gallons. How many pounds that must be?
Too heavy. I guess
who knew?
That's where you built your strength to play hockey, right?
Yeah, and who knew? I thought I was so strong, and I was really doing half the job.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the kind of beer they brew here at Glenmere. Unfortunately, we don't have the brewer and owner Mike Sandor here with us today, but we'll get to him. We'll definitely do an interview with Mike. He knows all about what we're doing here with Hudson Valley Pour, and he is down. But Mike is interesting because he does brew farmhouse styles, which is not uncommon. We've been at Drownlands recently, and they do farmhouse style. But he likes Saison beers, And he did one a few years ago. It was a farmhouse. It was a Nordic farmhouse, he called it, and he used the tips of like a juniper tree, like the juniper berry tips, in the formulation. It was the coolest thing. And so no one's ever done that. He is one of the few around here that does German styles. He has a Maibach on tap often.
He does right now. He has.
It's called Howlin' Rusty, and that's named after actually one of the local patrons that brings his dog in here named Rusty. This is a dog-friendly place. As you know, many of the breweries are dog-friendly. In fact, you're allowed to have dogs in your brewery as long as you're not serving food, as long as you don't have a kitchen. So most of the breweries around here love dogs, and Glenmere is no exception. They have a really, really great holiday specialty beer called Wicked Witch. It's a black raspberry stout that is out of this world fantastic. They've actually furnished it to a few retail accounts around the area, including Seven Lakes Station, where we've been before. And what a lot of their retailers will do is they'll cellar the beer for a year or even two, because it definitely ages. So that's great.
I never knew that beer aged. I figured it had a shelf life.
All beers have a shelf life, but it depends on what style it was brewed in, what the alcohol content was. There are beers that are, bourbon barrel aged, or rum barrel aged, or wine barrel aged, and they tend to be a little higher on the alcohol content. And some of those, it's best to just cellar the beer, keep it for a year or two, serve it then, and it's even better.
Who knew?
It mellows and just becomes, just the flavor profile is enhanced by aging.
So now,
just like a wine would be.
So now, I've never been into dark beers like stout. For some reason, I've never gotten over that hump. How did you migrate from something like what we're drinking today into dark beers? Was it a journey for you? Was it easy to do?
Well, it's funny you should say, Rich, because I didn't migrate from what we're drinking to the darker beers and the stouts. I actually was drinking darker beers and stouts back in the beginning of my craft journey, which was in the early 1990s. Yes, Guinness was out there, but one of the early stouts that I drank was from Brooklyn Brewing Company. It was black chocolate stout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
And it was, 8.2%, and I just thought that would damn cat's meow. Way higher alcohol content than anything that was going on back in those days. Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout. Probably some of you people watching this video have had it before. So that was where I started, and that was not a dry stout like a Guinness, or it was actually a sweet stout. Now these days they make, and you guys all know this, or at least some of the more experienced beer drinkers out there know that a lot of breweries are experimenting with pastry stouts. Now,
pastry.
Yeah, pastry stout. So they use
pastry.
Oh,
it is pastry.
Yeah, so they'll use like lactose sugar in the formulation, and so it has a very pastry-like palate and flavor. But that's just getting back to it. That's not what's going on here. The Wicked Witch is just a very, very great black raspberry stout that you can usually get here anytime, beginning in November of any given year, usually. Yeah.
Well, today I have chosen a New England IPA from Glenmere. This is called the Dragonfly. I forget what the ABV was on it, but I think it's below 7%.
It's 6.5 or something like 6.8.
So again, not heavy on the alcohol. As you can see, it is a little bit hazy, like a New England IPA will be. And I'm gonna. What are you drinking?
And I got the Lucid Dragon, which, as we were talking about, is the namesake for my Lucifer here.
And what kind of beer style?
Also an IPA, but with a slightly different hop and malt profile.
So, here's to you.
Cheers from Glenmere Brewing Company. We were right here in the brew house on a fantastic summer day.
Yep. Almost like a fizz at the tail end of it on my palate. Perfect for a summer day. So, Glenmere is a little bit harder for you to find if you're not from the area. So Florida, New York is kind of west of Warwick, south of Goshen and Chester.
About 4 miles from Route 17, which goes right through the heart of Orange County as you're coming off the thruway. So it's easy to get here, but as Rich said, maybe not so easy to find. It's not on the main street, it's on kind of a back street. It's on Maple Avenue. So look them up, Glenmere Brewing Company. They derive their name from a local lake here called Glenmere Lake, obviously. And that was where they sourced their water when they first started brewing here. I don't know if that's still the case. We'll have to get Mr. Sandor in and ask him that very question. But hopefully we'll have an interview with Mike and with his wife Shanna, who operate this place. It's a small brewery, but very, very friendly, and their clientele here is very loyal.
So until next time, subscribe to Hudson Valley Pour. By all means, follow us on Instagram. We want a dialogue going on. Let us know if you have questions for this guy over here. We have our Ask Todd program where you ask a question through one of our channels, and we will get Todd to give you the accurate answer.
Yeah, if I don't know the answer, I'll find out.
And if he doesn't find out, he'll fake it. So we'll be talking to you really soon. Thanks for watching.
See you here at Glenmere Brewery whenever you can get here, folks.
Yep. Adios.
Cheers.
Cheers.